Hello everyone and welcome to my craft room. My name's Julianne Richards and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Just bear with me for a minute, I'm going to check that my volume is okay. Hopefully it will be. Yep, there it is, it seems okay. Hopefully you can hear me and see everything okay. We're just about to lose the natural light here. It's got very dark this afternoon here in Hobart, so I thought I'd jump on a few minutes early and hopefully beat the failing light. I think we're going to get some rain this afternoon, so so yes, it's starting to cloud over quite a lot. Thanks for a few. I can see a few jumping on already. Hi Sally and Sue and Louise. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Today I'm going to do 3 cards with this art gallery bundle. It's really a lovely bundle, and I must admit I've only picked it up once. Trouble is, when you do a pre-order like I did back in November, you tend to buy everything and it takes you months and months and months to work your way through, or at least it does me. So I've picked this one up once to make a card for a couple of very special ladies just before Christmas, but haven't picked it up since. So we're going to do three cards. What I thought I might do is do 3 cards of varying complexity. So start with something fairly simple and then work my way up to, you know, something with a bit more bells and whistles that uses most of the products in the suite. I'll just have a drink of water. Oh, apologies about that. Okay, so we'll just get underway. We'll just start straight away with the more simple card, and as I say, with this one, even the most simple cards are really quite stunning, so hopefully you will enjoy what you see. Okay, so just going to start with my normal card base. I have a 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 card base that I've scored in the middle. I then got a 1/4 of an inch smaller, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/2 of our Purple Posy cardstock, and then an 1/8 of an inch smaller than that I've got a panel of Whisper White for stamping. So normally when I'm doing like beginner cards or normal cards, normal sort of just stamping cards in my classes, I give my students this panel to stamp on, because it makes, I think it sort of eases the dread that they're going to ruin, going to muck something up and ruin a whole card base if they are just working on a little piece of cardstock like that. So the colours I'm going to be using, I'm going to be stamping this really beautiful big flower that we have here with its little stem and leaves, plus also this little one here, which is quite nice. It's just a couple of leaves and some flowers together. So this is a 2-part stamp, so you have your main colour there with this one, and then you go in with something a bit darker as a bit of a highlight on this one here. So yeah, so that's the flowers I'm going to be using at the moment. So I'll just block them up. So the big rose, or the big flower, I'm going to do in the lighter colour will be Petal Pink, and the darker colour will be, I'll just block that up as well, the darker colour will be Flirty Flamingo. So I've got them all in a big pile here. Let's see if I can find them. There's my Flirty Flamingo and there's my Petal Pink. Okay, so then I'm going to come in with some other colours around the edge, so just to brighten it up a little bit. Okay, and I'll show you this double stamp. And we're just going to pop a foam mat underneath the stamping, because these are photopolymer stamps and sometimes they need a little bit of help to get full coverage. So I'm just going to pop the first one just in there, and then come in with another one, rotating slightly, and then come in with another one around there. There we are. So that's our Petal Pink, and then with our our Flirty Flamingo, I'll just show you this second stage to this stamping here. You just come in over the top, line it up as well as you can. It doesn't really matter too much because as long as you're sort of vaguely in the right spot, it still looks really good. So even if you're not 100% where you should be, it doesn't really matter too much. It's fairly forgiving, I suppose, is what I'm saying. I'll turn that around. It might be that forgiving. But you can sort of tell the bits that are supposed to go together. There we are. So there we have the Petal Pink and the Flirty Flamingo together there. Okay. So then I'm going to give it some leaves, some stalks. So I'll bring the stalk in. It's all in one, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And I'm just going to use Old Olive. So I'm actually being guided by the colours from the designer series paper that goes with this suite. It's absolutely the most beautiful. If you haven't seen it, it's really lovely designer series paper. But it gives you, as with most Stampin' Up things, it gives you a guide as to the coordinating colours, and that's the colours that I'm using here today. Ooh. There we are. So that's those. I'm going to come back with that one again, so I'll leave that on its block. Okay, so I'm going to bring in another little flower from the set. Actually, I am going to use this little one. Where was it? There. This little one here, which is the one I described before, just as a couple of little flowers. And I'm going to come in with that with Bumblebee. Where are you, Bumblebee? There you are. The next one I'm doing uses lots and lots and lots of colours, so I'm sort of scrambling through my pile to get to the ones I want. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this one in just up here. This is in the Bumblebee. And another one just there. You can see it's sort of building up some lovely colours there. And I'm going to bring back the Old Olive and the little stalk, stem. I'm just going to give this little one a bit of a stem coming up through there with a leaf or a part of a leaf. As usual, don't be worried. Make sure you're stamping on something that you don't mind too much getting a bit inky. So always have your grid paper or something up against it, underneath it. And I'm going to put a bit of a leaf in there as well. Okay, cool. And then I think that's the last of that one. And then there's another little cute little flower in this stamp set, which has sort of got stem and leaves all together. This one you might remember, somebody might remember, I made a boo-boo a few weeks ago and actually tried to colour those in with my blends. So as you can see, I didn't quite get it all off, but that's okay. It's well and truly on there. It's not coming off on anything. And I've got my Rococo Rose here, which is why I've got the backing Rococo Rose layer that we talked about before. And I'm just going to bring in just the leaves part of that as in the side, down the sides. Just a little bit there and a little bit at the top. There we are. So I think that's about all I want to do on that. Don't want too much. It's just a nice display of all the stamps and the various colours, which I think is really nice. So it's nice, simple stamping. It's an instant success for anyone who's just starting stamping. There's nothing too complicated there, and it looks really lovely. Well, I think it does anyway. So what I'm going to do is bring in one of the sentiments. I'm just going to bring in the Happy Birthday sentiment. Just pop that onto a block as well. And I'm not going to bother about anything fancy as far as sentiment blocks or anything is concerned. I'm just going to pop that in black just over the top of this lighter area here where our flower is. So I'm just going to pop that just there. There we are. Just about as simple as it gets. Then I will layer up our card, and that's our simple card done. Just with some glue. Now when I'm doing a beginner class, I will let my, or casual class, I'll let my ladies have some, use some rhinestones or some ribbon or something like that, just to show them what we have available with Stampin' Up. So you could probably pop some little rhinestones or some ribbon or something on that as well, which would add to the card no end, I imagine. There we go, and then on the white, and that's just very plain, very simple, but I think very sweet. There we go. So that's our simple card there. I'll just make sure you can see that properly. Yes, I'm definitely losing my light, aren't I? Here we go. So that's the simple version of my card. Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll take one step up and do something a little bit more complicated with the next one. Okay, so with the next one, I'm going to introduce the dies and the die cutting. And there's quite a lot of die cutting, actually, as you can probably see. I won't show you those just yet. Again, I thought just to keep the theme going, I've got my normal card base with my Rococo Rose layer and my white layer there. I'm not going to be stamping on that just yet. I'm actually going to grab a piece of Whisper White and stamp a whole lot, a series of these beautiful blooms in different colours, and just show you how effective they can be when you pop them together. So just give me a second, I'll swap things around. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple in our original combination. So that's the Petal Pink and Flirty Flamingo. So I'll just do a couple in that. So I'm off the edge there of my, off the edge of my, now I might have to turn over and start again. I was off the edge of my foam. There it is. Turn it over. Make sure I'm on the foam. Yes, I am now. Okay, so we've got our couple of these, like our original card. And then we'll bring in our Flirty Flamingo. There we are. So let's try something a little bit different combinations there. We'll do Poppy Parade. So this is a nice, lovely bright red. So Poppy Parade, and when you're trying to work out the colours to put together with this one, you sort of want something to highlight it that's a bit darker, or you know, a shade darker. So look at that Poppy Parade, that's just glorious. And I'm going to partner that with terracotta tile, so it's sort of like a brick sort of colour. So watch this. This makes it something very special when you partner these two together. There we are. So it adds a depth to it that's quite lovely. I'll bring it a bit closer so you can see in a second. So that's that one. I then thought I would also bring back our bumblebee. And again, I'm just using the colours that were suggested in the designer series paper, so there's nothing too amazing about what I'm doing. So this is our bumblebee. And I'm going to partner that with a colour I don't use very often. It's not really one of my favourites. It's in an old, with our pumpkin pie. So that's sort of like a, I don't know, a rich sort of golden yellow almost. I'll put that together with that one. So see, that adds a depth to that bumblebee as well. And what else was I going to do? What else have I got here? Merry Merlot with... Oh, what was I going to do Merry Merlot with? Ah, Rococo Rose. That's right. So, Rococo Rose. Hopefully I can fit that in the end there. So Rococo Rose with Merry Merlot. And this one I think is very special. I like this one. I think it's my favourite combo. There, that's just glorious. Anyway, so as I say, I'll bring it a little bit closer so you can see. And you can tell me which one is your favourite. Okay, so just stand up and make sure. So there's our Rococo Rose and Merry Merlot on the end. Then we've got our Bumblebee and Pumpkin Pie, our Poppy Parade with Terracotta Tile, and our original Petal Pink with Flirty Flamingo. So as you can see, they're all very, very different, but I think very, very lovely. Okay, so also with this one, I'm going to grab the leaf again, and I'm going to stamp 3 of our stems and leaves again in Old Olive. I don't know if I'm going to have room on this one. No, probably not. Pop that one aside. We want 3 of the leaves in Old Olive. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So that's all the stamping we need to do with this one. And now we will pop those through the die cutting machine. But I've done that already. You guys are lucky. And I've got them all die cut here. So I've actually done 2 with the Rococo Rose and Merry Merlot. And then our other colours are there as well. So they look really, really good. Now here are our leaves. And I've actually cut our leaves up so that they're actually not... I'm going to just be using them as leaves rather than stalks and leaves, or stems and leaves. So I've cut those into just leaves. Okay, so that's there, what I'm going to be making up our card with. Okay, so I'll bring back our card base and our colour. Now, while I was making this, I sort of wondered whether I should leave the colour out of it. So I might leave that backing just out of it for the moment, just to see. You guys can tell me what you prefer. So what I'm going to do is just arrange these flowers just on the card. Just like this. Just like that. So it's just a sort of a mass of beautiful floral colours, just like that. This was the plan actually. It's sort of, I hadn't done it yet. I knew what I wanted to do, but I hadn't actually played with it all that much. So you guys are going to have to help me with what you think. Don't want any two colours next to each other, so how about we go like that. So I was just going to do that, just like that, and I'm going to pop the top one onto dimensionals, and then I'm going to bring in these leaves and just stick them so that they sort of peek out in various places around the place. Yeah, I think I like that. So, so just a bit like that. Well, push that in, of course. There. So I think I prefer that without the colour underneath. So if I have the colour underneath, it just adds that layer. But I think I actually like the flowers just to talk for themselves. So I might just leave the Rococo Rose panel out of it completely. Yeah, no, I like that better. Okay, so let's get those stuck down. I wonder whether I should cut myself a larger piece of white cardstock if I'm going to do it that way. Oh no, we'll leave it as is. We'll leave it like that. Okay, so I might actually glue this one down first so it's central. So it's just going to give us a little outline. You could probably put them all onto your card base without too much problem, but I sort of like having a little bit of a layer there just to give it a bit of interest. Okay, so then we might start from this one here. I'm going to put on a dimensional, so I'm just going to leave him sort of loose until I come back in with it. Just put a little bit of glue on the back of each of these and slip it up under. It was up there, wasn't it? Isn't it terrible? You do something once and then you think, I'm going to remember how to do that, and when you come back to it, you've got no idea what you've done. Here we are. Yes, I think K2, I believe it's better with let the colours talk for themselves. Now, put too much glue under there, so that little guy's going to have to get cut off so he can slip in under there, which is okay, we can do that. I'll just cut him off a tiny bit so I can push him in up under there. There we are. Yeah, that's good. So just there, a little bit of glue on the edge, and I'll just push him up under there. Okay. Cool. Okay, so as I say, this little guy here, I'm going to put him on a dimensional just to give him a bit of height. And then we'll bring our leaves in as well. Okay, so I think actually the leaves will actually going to lift this quite a lot. It's funny when you're doing something with lots of flowers, they sort of look pretty, but then when you add the leaves, it tends to sort of lift it to a whole, I think the green lifts it to a whole different level sometimes. I don't know, just the base colour almost, I don't know. It could be just because I'm a green person. Yeah. Oh, it is getting dark. Did I see Elizabeth on? Elizabeth and Sally, you live not far away from me. Is it dark at your place, or is it just my eyes? could just be my eyes when I think about it. Okay, nearly there. We've got another couple. Yeah. Okay, I think that's probably enough. We don't have to use all of our little leaves. I might put him. No, I think that'll do. Okay, so there we are. That's our flowers and things on. Then what I thought we could do, I've got these really pretty gold coloured metallic pearls from the annual catalogue. Thought I'd pop a couple of those around. And then I thought I could even add you could even add some Wink of Stella and give it a real little bit of extra bling, extra shine. Oh. These little guys all want to come off together. I haven't got a sentiment on there. Okay, we better do a sentiment. Okay, oh, that's really nice. I like that. So we might pop a sentiment just up here. We've got a gap. I hadn't really thought that far ahead. As I said, I sort of made this one up as I went along. Sorry, thank you. What about thank you? Just pop a little thank you on there. Now, where would that look nice? Down there, up there. Or maybe down there, I think. There's my black. There we go. Just pop a little thank you down in the corner. Yeah, I like that. Except I've just dropped it. I liked it so much I dropped it. I'll get it in a sec. Okay. And that's done. Okay, so this is more sort of, there's obviously a lot more to that one. There's stamping and there's die cutting, and then we've done a bit of cutting as well. But I think I really like that. It's like a bunch of flowers that you're giving to somebody as a thank you present. So yeah, so that's my second card. Hope you like that one. I do actually like the fact that it's got a rim of the paper around there, so it gives it just a little bit more formal than just having it straight onto the card base. So that's card number 2. I love those colours. That's really nice. No, Mav won't. No, Mav doesn't come. Sally's saying that make sure Mav doesn't get it. Mav is our new kitten. My son's new kitten. And since my son and his partner are living with us at the moment, Mav has moved in as well. So, yes, and he does actually love my craft room, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, because I love it too. But every time the door's open, he flits in here as quick as he possibly can. Okay, so there's card number 2. We'll keep it away from Mav, and I'll get that block off the floor so he doesn't get it. Okay, so the third card, I thought I'd go a bit all out and use some more elements of the suite. So the suite has some wonderful ribbon and some, as I mentioned, designer series paper. So I'm using all of those in this next one. I might get rid of that for the moment. And again, just for consistency, I have my normal 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 card base, and then I'm using some of the designer series paper with this wonderful golden. Now I'll tell you what it's called. So this is the designer series paper. It's got some lovely designs there. Oops, sorry for the bump. Got some really nice sort of designs there. You could probably use them for scrapbooking because they've got that sort of this field of flowers sort of look to it. But the highlight of this, I think, is this Golden Garden Designer Specialty Acetate. So we've got 3 sheets per pack, and what actually is the good thing about it is that you can line up two of the patterns will line up with the designer series papers that we have there, so they sort of act as a bit of an overlay. So here I've chopped a piece of the designer series paper. It's really, really lovely. And this is the corresponding acetate. So I'll just show you that on the white so you can see it. You can see the bunches of flowers that we have on the acetate actually correspond with the bunches of flowers on this particular piece of paper, and the leaf positions as well. So there's flowers here and there's flowers down here, and they all sort of line up with each other. So if you're careful the way you're cutting it, you can actually line them up on your card base, and it looks like, I don't know, what it just looks, the two sort of shapes complement each other, which is really, really good. So that's what I'm going to do first of all. I'm actually just going to attach my designer series paper to my acetate. So eventually I'm going to be bringing in this stitched square of Pretty Peacock. So I know that this large part of the centre of the card is going to be covered by another element. So I'm going to put my glue in that part just so that it doesn't show, because sometimes with these acetates and vellums and things, it's a bit hard to know how to glue them down because you don't want to have the glue showing through. So I'm just going to add some glue, just as I mentioned, to that central part there, and then that is going to be hidden under the next element that we use. So, and it dries clear anyway, so it's not overly a problem, but I just like the idea of that acetate sort of almost hanging in midair with no visible signs of support. Okay, so I'll just spread that a little bit further. So that'll sort of join those two things together there like that. Then what I'm going to do is bring in, this is the ribbon. It's a lovely sort of gold, what would you call it, gold linen look ribbon. What do they actually call it? Fine art ribbon. That doesn't really help us, but it's sort of got a linen, a linen sort of look with the gold thread through it. It's really quite nice. Actually, it's good in this light, you can see it. So I'm going to bring that piece of ribbon across there, across that central part there. Oh, hang on, so that's going to go there. So I want my ribbon tucked up under here, about there. Just there like that. So that's about where I want my ribbon there. So probably, what's that? About an inch and a half from the bottom. The back of that is really pretty too. See the back of that paper. So I'll pop that on. So I've got some double-sided or some tear and tape here. I'll just pop that on roughly where I want my ribbon to be. And then pull it off. And attach it. So we said about there. Yep. Just like that. Okay, so that's it. So nice of the gold of the acetate and the gold of the ribbon just matching, sort of setting each other off like that really nicely. Okay, so, and again, we're headed into unknown territory. I sort of knew what I wanted to do, but this is as far as I got. So I'm going to attach that. I might just glue that to the card base. So just a bit more glue around the edge and pop that on our card base. Yep, that's pretty good. Just like that. Isn't that nice? I think that's probably as nice a card. You probably leave it at that. I think it's quite a highlight, that paper. Okay, so next decision I need to make. I have an oval that I have cut with petal pink cardstock, and a square that I've also cut with the petal pink cardstock, and I've popped them both through the embossing folder that comes with the suite. It's quickly become one of my favourite embossing folders, but I've lost it, so I can't show you. No, it's not here. It's the I'll tell you what it's called. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so there it is. It's really lovely. I think it's called the Fine Art or the Brush Stroke, something like that. It's such my favourite. I can't remember what it's called. Let's have a look. I'll be at the back. It's called the Painted Texture embossing folder. It's really, really nice and actually gives that sort of brush stroke sort of look that you get on sort of real live proper paintings. So I think I'm going to use the rectangle just there like that. Yeah, no, I am. I'm going to use the rectangle and just pop that on there. And also I have a little bow that I've already tied, so you guys don't have to sit through the agony of watching me tie a bow. And I'm going to pop that there. And I have already stamped and cut out a flower from the set, just the same as we did with the others. So this is my Poppy Parade and terracotta tile combination. I'm actually wondering whether it would be nicer with that one. No, I think I like this one. So we've got our Poppy Parade terracotta tile combo flower, which I'm going to pop on there. And it's got its leaves, which I'm also going to put there. So you can see where I'm going with this. And I've got my sentiment box. So it's just going to go just there like that. So that's basically how the card's going to look. It looks quite lovely, I think. We'll put that together. So I'm going to pop our sentiment box onto some dimensionals. Oh, not sentiment box, our embossed rectangle. Onto dimensionals, just for some height. Don't ask where they go. Dimensional backings, they just go off to die on the floor usually until somebody comes and vacuums them up. So I'm going to pop that more over to the left hand side than central, and more higher than central as well, so it's more up to the left hand, top left hand corner, just to be a little bit different. Then I'm going to pop our flower on. So just with some glue. There we are. So the colours here are quite distinctive. You could tone them down if you wanted to, of course, any colours you like. But I decided to go a bit outside my comfort zone today. So this little set of leaves here is actually in, I went a bit darker, this is actually Mossy Meadow. Yeah, those leaves. So a little bit darker because I think they match the paper a little bit nicer. So there's our flower. Then I'm going to just stamp. This is the larger of the two sentiment boxes that come with the die set. I'll just show you. Die set. Where'd I put the die set? Here. In front of me all the time. So it's got two little sort of serrated edge, almost like postage stamp edged sentiment boxes in the set. And one's like a little smaller one, which you'd use for the smaller sentiments, I miss you, and I think there was a good luck or something there, so a smaller one. But I've got the longer one, the longer of the two here, which I've already cut out in Whisper White. So I thought I would use one of the longer sentiments in the set with this one. And I was going to use I'm Thinking of You. Is that too long? No, that's just right. So I'm Thinking of You. On that one, I'll just block that up. And my black, there we are. I'll just have a bit of a practice on my grid paper to make sure I've got that on straight. Yeah, not too bad. There we are. We're going to pop that onto our sentiment box. Here we are, that's good. put my bow just here, and then my sentiment box will be there. So I'm just position them so I know where I'm going to go. So the sentiment box is there. So I might just glue that. So it'll be mostly glued. Ooh, came out quite quick. But then I'm going to put a dimensional right up on the end here, just so that it's got some support where it's coming off the edge of the little stitched rectangle. Just above the ribbon, I think. There we are. There we are, that's nice. There we go. And then with the glue dot, I'll attach that ribbon. Okay, so I don't think there's much I haven't used from that little suite on that card. Just about everything. I'll turn that sideways a little bit more. Just about everything there. I've used the ribbon and the acetate and the designer series paper and the stamp set, obviously, and the embossing folder. Yeah, and the designer series paper. So that's just about the whole bit, or the whole lot that I've actually got there in one card. So there we are. So that's our stepped up version again. So that's just got just about everything on there. So that's probably something I'd do at an intermediate class or something like that. So yeah, so hopefully you like that one as well. So that's all I wanted to show you today, nice and quick, because I've prepared everything there. So we've got our 3 versions of the card. If I can find them. I do throw things aside and then forget where I put them. So there's our second one, our intermediate one, and here's our beginner one. So there's our 3 cards. As you can see, I should put some bling on there. Let's put some bling on that one as well. Use our little gold pearls. I think they'll just set that off so nicely. Oh. And another one. There we are. Yeah, just a little bit of bling. There you go. So our beginner card, our intermediate card, and our stepped up advanced card, or our avid crafter card there. So the 3 versions with our beautiful art gallery stamp set. There we are, and the dies that go with it. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you liked that one. If you'd like to know anything about these products, please drop me a line. If you haven't got an active demonstrator, please keep me in mind, and I will be happy to help you with anything you might want to know about these wonderful products. This one is in the January to June mini catalogue, so it's on sale at the moment. Everything I've used today is current project. Oh, where's my tongue? Current products. Just a quick plug before I go. I've got my February class by mail being on sale at the moment. And I'll just show you. It features the Sweet Strawberry stamp set, and these are the 3 cards from that class. So if you live in Australia and you'd like to do this class by mail, the details are on my Facebook page, obviously. You get enough cardstock, embellishments, the whole thing to make 6 cards, so 2 of each of these cards. So that's the class this in February, if you'd like to pop on and see the details of that. It's been very, very popular, but it's not too late to order if you like the look of that. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. A bit of a plug on the end there, but I hope you definitely like my art gallery cards that I produced, and pop on to see me again next time. Thank you.